Welcome to Secular CISO, another edition on cybersecurity, and we lead the conversation. And to lead this conversation today, we have chosen a topic again on AI. We have previously had various conversations on AI, but this time I can only tell you it's going to be very different. So I would like you to make time. And the good thing is this is going to be a recorded session, so you can also watch this at your convenience as and when you have time, because this is going to be beyond the traditional time we take to have a conversation. So this is going to be a long one. It's going to be longer than 20 minutes. And I'm sure you will benefit out of it. And I have with me a super duper guest with me. His name, most of you may be familiar with him, and those of you who don't know him, I have the pleasure of introducing him. He is Harpreet Singh Arora, a very experienced cybersecurity professional. He has a credential which is world famous, CISSP, and he also has other credentials. And while I say he's a cybersecurity practitioner professional, he has this unique ability to teach people. And that's where he becomes a very strong professional, where he's able to articulate simple things into explaining as to how those things are going to work. And today, he's going to walk us through as to how the attackers are outpacing the security teams and what we as defenders should be aware of. So without further ado, I'd like to welcome Harpreet. Harpreet, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Sujit. Thanks a lot.
Yeah, thank you, and it's a pleasure to have you, and the floor is all yours.
Thanks a lot. So, as Sujit mentioned, today we are here to talk about how SOC teams are feeling unprepared when there are AI-based attacks. So, AI-based attacks are not nothing new. It is just the same old attacks, but now supported with the artificial intelligence, which makes it pretty fast. Imagine an attacker who never sleeps, never gets tired, learns from every failed attempt, and can generate a new phishing email faster than you can blink. That attacker already exists, and that attacker is nothing but artificial intelligence. With this, we start our discussion with how AI is making it not just crucial for attack but also for defense, and not just making it headache for the security professionals but assisting them in their approach. So in today's talk we'll see both ways. We'll see how AI is being used for attack, how it can disrupt things, and how you can use AI for your benefit. Today we are not talking about the future of cyber attacks. The future is already here. We are talking about what is already happening quietly inside enterprises, while most security teams are still running yesterday's playbooks. So, not when we talk about AI, we are not just talking about the scenarios, we are also talking about the future that is just at your doorstep. So, me in my last 10 plus years of experience, I have seen manually cyber teams manually doing tasks, and the same task now being done with AI. Obviously, there are questions around how it impacts jobs, how will it eliminate L1, or would it have impacts on L2 and L3? Those questions are never ending. Those were there when we were having cloud as a new thing in the market. Now we are having AI as a new thing in the market. So answer to that question never is that job is going anywhere. Cloud induction created new jobs, although the obsolete which required your skills to be improved they got obsolete, no doubt about it. Same as now with AI. So if you understand that the technology changes vastly in every decade, so you keep yourself updated, you keep yourself prepared, so that if there is any slight change in the job market, in the skill set which is required, you follow the pace rather than panicking. So in this episode, we will break how AI is changing attacks, why traditional security tooling is falling behind, and what defenders must do differently starting now. The first question or the first scenario that comes to our mind while we talk about this switch or this shift is the shift from human hackers to machine scale attacks. Initially, there were some attackers, uh, uh, one country getting attacked from other country. They had some activists which were precisely attacking the governments. Nowadays, they don't need to be on the system for 24/7 doing the thing that they were doing. Now they have machines for that. They have prepared those machines, they have trained those machines to do all that stuff that they were doing earlier. So shifting the burden off their shoulders, but still getting the output from it. So limiting the human effort, writing one such example is writing phishing emails. Earlier, the phishing email.
I remember few years back when there was a phishing attempt, we would tell our juniors or we would tell our teammates that okay, look for spelling mistakes, look for grammar. But what about now? Do you think AI is making those mistakes? The answer obvious is no. AI know English, AI know Spanish, AI know every language that you don't know. So AI is not making that mistakes. So saying your teammates check if there are grammatical mistakes that might be phishing is an obsolete statement. Now you cannot say that if there is no grammatical mistakes, the email is not phishing. There are hundreds of hundreds of cases every day. Uh, Most famous 2024 Chinese CEO, they used deepfake, ordered the finance team for some cash out, and that cash was in fact paid by the finance team because on the call it was their CEO himself. Same voice, same tone, and same face. So that's one way. It's not phishing, it's deepfake for sure. But yes, that's how AI impacts firms. Not just firms, countries, not just countries, continents. So after trying to explain this, we further deep dive. Okay, we know that this is the problem. So Harpreet, don't talk about the problem, talk about solution. So that's why we are here to talk about solutions. If that's not the case, if we cannot check uh, phishing by grammar or by domain or all the things that we were using earlier. I never said that we are not using all the things that we were using earlier. Some are still as relevant as before. AI attackers do three things extremely well: they scale, they speed, they adapt. So, one solution or the solution to this issue lies in this sentence. As attackers scale, speed, and adapt, so do we have. So scale means thousands of variations of the same attack. Initially, it was DOS and DDoS. Now even DDoS variations are there. They change the frequency, they change the characters, uh, even the attack locations are different. Uh, Speed means real-time response to defense. Adaptations means learning what worked and what failed without emotional bias. Most organizations still defend as if attackers are human. I have seen personally companies still using same obsolete. They are slow in means I'm not very sorry to say that, but yes, firms are slow to cope up with how the attackers are doing with the speed and adaptability. Companies are still using same old methods, and uh, that's why seeing the you are hearing the news every now and then. So solar winds and others. I don't want to name shame any firm, but yes, a little a little lag in what in competing with the attackers, and the firms are gone. So why I'm saying firms are gone, the business is gone, the reputation is gone, the clients are gone. So again, nothing to make you scared of, but yes, that's what we are here for. We are here to educate ourselves. We are here to talk about it so that even if you remember, say 10% of this communication, we would be very vigilant in safeguarding your environment. So
Welcome back, Harpreet, and it's good to have you back in our virtual studio. And for those of you who missed the introduction, Harpreet Singh Arora is a CISSP with several years of experience in cybersecurity. He calls himself a practicing professional, and he's also very passionate about education and educating people on important subjects. And he has kindly consented to spend his time with me this evening, where he's going to talk about how AI is being used by the attackers to target various organizations. And in his introduction, he did briefly say, today, as humans, we need breaks. We need coffee breaks, we need tea breaks, and we also need to sleep. And we also need to have work-life balance. But with this AI in the block, we have something which never sleeps, never blinks, doesn't need rest, and more importantly, it has the ability to learn by itself and take certain actions. So with that, I hand the mic back to Harpreet. Over to you.
Thanks, Vijay, on this. So we were talking about how the attackers scale, speed up, and adapt to uh, the changing environment, the changing technologies, and the requirement for us as defenders to match that scale. So we also talked about that it's not uh, that with every improvement in skill sets, the jobs are scarce. No, every skills, just like cloud AI, if you are skilled enough, the jobs are always there for you.
And I'm going to pause you and ask you a question, right? I mean,
Mm-hmm.
this is a question which a couple of graduates who are just, about to pass out, they asked me, "Sir, we are not getting any internships. There are no entry-level jobs, right? So are we saying the jobs have gone away and these graduates do not have an opportunity?" I'd like to hear from you how AI is changing the context in the job space.
Thanks for the question. I personally feel that this needs to be answered. And yes, it's very much valid in not just in today's world, but since the evolvement of the jobs and job related things. In talking about cybersecurity, not everyone will get a cybersecurity job on entry level because no firm wants that risk. I don't want someone to look after the security of my firm who is having no credentials, zero credentials, and no experience. So what I suggest means that's also my personal experience. I started as network engineer guy. So make yourself best in whatever field you are currently and focus uh, on the target. So without changing things, so cybersecurity is not just one field. Cybersecurity is network security, web application security,
Absolutely.
OT security, email security. Even if you are doing MS 065, MS 365 related job, even if you are an email guy, you can switch to email security. If you are a network related guy, currently working in NOC or SOC, you can definitely get yourself certified. Uh, I won't say CEH. CompTIA Plus is a good security certification that will just ask or tell that will just tell your possible employer that yes, this guy has the credibility. We can test him. So having that certificate doesn't mean you will get a job. You have to showcase your skill set. So make yourself prepared. Uh, it is 2026 already, and
Get
we
your
have
hands dirty.
immense things. You have YouTube, you have
Absolutely.
Udemy, you have uh, podcasts going on. So
Absolutely.
information is free of cost. So you
Correct.
just have to make use of it while
Absolutely.
applying for interviews.
Absolutely. And what I always keep saying is, like, attitude matters, right?
Exactly,
So
exactly.
I always quote Nike, their tagline, just do it,
Just do
right? Get
it.
your hands do it, get your
Exactly.
hands dirty, right? And I think it is also important for us to highlight saying, okay, the world is going through a change. Likewise, the organizations are also transforming. The way the business was conducted 20 years ago is not the way businesses are being conducted today, right? I mean, 20 years ago, probably our parents, you and I, went to the corner shop there to buy something. Maybe we call it the Kirana store in India, right? So we would go and buy there. Today, you live in the comfort of your home, an app, and 20 minutes or less than that, you have what you need being delivered at home. So that transformation also has happened, right? So the footfalls have reduced, or, like, if somebody wants to go to a mall, it's kind of, to stretch their legs and enjoy the ambience, not necessarily for shopping. So the people's wants, likes, needs also have changed. Likewise, I would say, to your point, organizations needs and the job descriptions also have changed, and people need to recognize, because when you say, today AI doesn't need to sleep, doesn't need a rest, doesn't need a coffee break. It can continuously work. So certain jobs, we kind of say entry level, maybe mundane, human intensive jobs. Those tasks probably are getting automated, or probably an AI assistant is there to do those functions, right? So I guess it is important for people to understand how those changes are happening. And also, I think it is important at this point for us to make mention that it's time for us to redefine what is an entry level job as well for every organization, right? I mean, so it's based on the proficiency. You did mention about a few certifications. I'd also like to mention certified in cybersecurity is also a certification which helps students and people who would want to transition to cybersecurity to have the basic knowledge, theoretical knowledge, but then you complement with other certifications to complement and say, hey, I've got hands-on technical know-how. And these two, knowledge, theory, and practical experience together, I think would land them the jobs they're dreaming about. Harpreet.
Exactly, exactly. So the change in the entry level thing that you mentioned, that is very much true. Initially, the L1 level SOC analysts, they were just doing monitoring and triaging. Now companies
Absolutely.
don't need monitoring and triaging because that is being done by with AI tools. I'm not
Correct.
sponsoring any tool, but there are tools which work on behavior analogy. So tools
Absolutely.
like Darktrace, Vectra, Extra Hope, they work. They see what's the behavior change, even not just a user but also the file. If a file
Correct.
sitting in one department is trying to fetch something from finance department, why it is doing so? So Microsoft Defender does a brilliant job, and the other tools that I mentioned. Nowadays, there are tools, uh, to name a few, Expo is there, which could do penetration testing on your behalf. It will cost a fortune, but yes,
Absolutely.
there are tools which are available in this case.
Where we're
What
talking about
matters here?
platformization, and also, sorry, I mean, so what I was saying is, I mean, we're talking about, on one side, we are talking about platformization of these services. And very important for us to observe is that mean time to detect and mean time to respond. Because the speed at which the attacks are happening, we also need to respond at that same speed or even faster than the attackers. So that
Exactly.
you need assistance, right? You need capabilities, right? Human wisdoms cannot be taken away. You have to have the human in the loop, but you will take advantage of the tools available to get those basic things done. Hardik.
Exactly. Although when there are competitions in the market, the least a person can start from is doing bug bounty for the firms. Bug bounty hardly
Absolutely
wants you to be somewhere, wants to be in some office. You can do it just with your laptop and internet connection. Uh, the platforms like Bugcrowd and all, those are free of cost. You can just sign in and start doing things. But with
correct.
the knowledge of AI, they say it's Bugcrowd is like crowded. You are there. But how many of them are taking leverage of AI? So even say for example, working on one bug, for example, it is layman thing. There might be many more worldwide. How many of them are using AI tools? System that alone will make them surpass the majority, surpass the masses. So again, uh, picking you up from back of the line to fortune, that's one way where you see AI. Uh, the viewers might uh, think that okay, this guy is cybersecurity person. Why is he talking about AI? Just to add, there are good Indian institutes just like IIT Roper and others, which are providing AI-based training, not just AI plus cybersecurity. So one of my credentials include that also, just to mention, so that you don't think that okay, he is having cybersecurity background, but talking about AI might sound something derailing or derailment. But yes, that's one credential that I boast of, and that helps me talk about use of AI with cybersecurity. Defense must shift from content based detection. Initially, it was all content based when we were talking about firewalls, when we were talking about IDS, IPS. It was all content rules. Now, that content and rule based detection would take more time to do the incident response. You mentioned MTTR and MTTD. Uh, for those who are new to cybersecurity in the audience, MTTR is what your mean time to respond, and MTTR is to what is your mean time of detection. So both of these have to be high. Your has to be quick, means you cannot have hours to detect and to respond. So AI helps there. So text-based things, firewalling and other things, there you had to first detect, you have to check your inventory, your assets, then you check their criticality, and then so there were parts which you had to go through, and that was time consuming. Nowadays, all that part, that inventory detection, severity, uh, decision, all these things are now being taken care of AI. So initially when it was 4 hours, now it is like 10 minutes. Your assets are there, they are sequenced based upon their criticality, and your decision making is enhanced. Your decision is now better. You are able to uh, make decision faster than before. So that is one of the point, very very important point, because generally people think they talk about the end results, but the very starting where you have to prioritize your assets based upon their criticality, that comes first. And they they forgot that AI could also be uh, integrated there to make the very first step as fast as possible. So if your starting step is fast enough, half of the work is done already.
Absolutely.
Talking about the next major thing, so we talked about phishing, we talked about asset inventory and other related stuff. One of the major threat that companies uh, they face is malware or ransomware. Malware and ransomware are also very, I would say, clever nowadays, with the use of ransomware as a service or malware as a service. People pay to get companies attacked. So initially it was only on dark web. Nowadays you can even see RAS or mass even available on your regular internet also. We will not discuss here how to build malware. We already know malware is something nasty which would try to get hold of your files, and talking about ransomware, it would just be released if you pay them back, and that is also not promised. They can get payment from you and still not release it in the dark web, getting double extortion. So that's the other part of the coin. But how AI changes attacker decision making after the access is gained, after the attacker has gained the access to your files, or after they have already uh, thrown the malicious payloads inside your systems. Even when EDRs are there, your endpoint detection systems are there, AI helps attackers decide where to move next. So initially, if I consider myself attacker, okay, I have gained access of a system. Now what? Either I would do lateral movement or I would do vertical movement, based upon what kind of privilege I can get. This decision is also now supported with AI. If AI thinks that okay, privilege escalation or horizontal movement is easier, or it is beneficial for me as an attacker, AI would assist me, okay, first do this, then do that. And for that, I don't need any hardcore knowledge also, just NLP, uh, natural language processing, any chatbot, chat GPT, copilot, or DeepSeek, something like that. And they would indicate your doubts even as an attacker. Okay, you do, this is your payload, this is how you can uh, supply it, and yes, how you can attack an AI model, everything. You just need a little knowledge of prompting. And if you are good in communication, you are good in placing your points in front of others, you are good in prompting, you are good in making the machine understand what you are trying to say. uh, so when we talk about malware or ransomware, many EDR tools, Sentinel-1 or CrowdStrike, they assume known attacker behaviors. They know that, okay, if a file is present, VirusTotal is saying that it is malicious, this is how it would impact, because these are the strings it is having, these are the capabilities of this malware or this ransomware. AI driven attackers deliberately avoid those patterns because they know that EDR and XDR machine tools, they work on known patterns. So what we can change using AI, we can change the pattern of attack altogether. Initially, if the file was uh, say fetching some APIs which would turn on some processes or registries. Now they are not attacking registries or files, they are attacking memory. So when the attack is on memory, there is no clue of registries getting addition or deletion, no files created, deleted. It's all on memory, which is volatile. So no evidence in the background. So where would the EDRs work? So that's again one point where AI is helping an attacker.
Or can we say slightly ahead of the curve, ahead of defense?
Exactly. So we'll now talk about a little why SOC teams are overwhelmed, and then we'll see AI in action. We'll see how AI is used as something to attack, and how we can create rules using AI, how AI can be your friend. But firstly, how SOC teams are overwhelmed. What is making them overwhelmed? We'll talk about this reality check first. security operation centers are drowning in alerts. So if if I talk about 4 or 5 years back, we are having 6 people working in SOC environment 24/7, 3 in the morning shift, 3 in the evening shift. Or if it is 24/7, then 9 people, 3 in morning, 3 evening, and 3 in the night, or US shift, we say it. AI increases the attack volumes, but defenders still rely on human analysts to analyze everything, to investigate everything. Even I'm talking about the time when AI attacks were at peak, but the defense was not that much ready. So you are getting bulk of alerts, bulk of uh, things to investigate, alarms, alerts, but you are still having just 9 people. And that those people also, they have to, out of those, they have to check false positives, they have to check the actual thing to work on, and also they have to decide which of these is critical to work on. I'm not talking about all the firms. Some firms, they have buffer with them, not just 9 people, but yes, generally, if we talk about the regular scenario where companies do have to take care of their cost also, so 9 is the number I'm talking about. The hard truth is, throwing more alerts at analysts, it did not improve security. Analysts, they were overworked. They had to be there for every alert. They have even when one shift had to pass it on to the next shift, they would give them a CSV files of alerts that still have to be worked, plus the alerts that they will get in their own shift. So this would burn out the analysts. How AI could help here in this scenario, out of the alerts that they are getting now, say 20,000 alerts in one shift. I'm in the entire talk, I'm just using layman uh, figures. It's not hard and fast. So 20,000 alerts. Now, if you have three analysts in a shift and 20,000 alerts are there, firstly, the first filter, those alerts have to go through its AI. AI would work on those 20,000 and say 10% are filtered out as true positive, on which the analysts actually have to work. Now they don't have to work on 20,000 but 2,000, for example. So again, lesser time wastage, lesser fatigue, uh, more productivity, and lesser turnover to the next shift. So hand over to the next shift. So this is again one way where SOC teams felt that AI is a good friend uh, if it is uh, genuinely used as a friend, rather than panicking that it would take our jobs away. Better approach.
Harpit, I'm just going to pause you here and ask a question, right? I think you and I are strong advocates saying that AI is going to be an assistant, right? While it can definitely take some work off you, but it is going to aid the way you would do work. Now, I'm specifically focusing this question. We're talking about humans, limited supply, limited knowledge. Now, see, there is this perception saying, okay, oh, we got AI, we can do anything. Right? And I keep hearing this conversation in every meeting at different layers in an organization. And what worries me is, yeah, true, but if the individual is not technically sound, would they be making the right choices, right decisions to use AI? Right? I mean, now today, earlier, what we did was we had the humans, triaging, right? And that required a lot of experience, leave alone the time, right? They had to understand networking knowledge, they had to understand network protocols and various other intricacies, if I were to say, right? And then also to say, hey, I mean, I don't have this piece of information for me to conclude and say, hey, correlation. You gave a fantastic example. You said if the attacks are happening at the memory layer, how many of these people would say, hey guys, we've been able to cover up to this point. The missing link is here. What do we do? I'd like to hear from you. What are you seeing and what is your perception on this? Because for me, this is a dangerous trajectory and I think needs a little bit of discussion.
Again, brilliant question, Sujit. I guess this is what we call cutting the clutter. So when we say that, I okay, there are certain verticals in cybersecurity. The way we started our talk from, it's web application security, mobile security, and not everyone is ace of everything. There might be people like me who are jack of everything, but not ace of one, and there might be someone who is very good in web application, but not good in others. Can they still be helpful in other fields? The answer is yes. How? If I'm not good in say web application penetration testing or web application security testing, but since I'm working in security field from 10 plus years, that would not be a case that I do not know anything about coding or web applications. Even if I know syntax, if even if I know that if I'm getting this error, try else would shift me out of this error. Just this knowledge, what I can do, uh, back to our AI friends, ChatGPT, Copilot. Again, only those AI friends which are allowed in my firm. So if my firm is saying you are allowed to use Copilot, I would only use Copilot because otherwise it might be compliance issues. Answer to the question, if there is a skill gap, means if I'm not very good in web applications, I would help it I would help I would take help of this AI chatbot. I'll take help from ChatGPT that this is what we are doing. We are doing source code evaluation. We are doing source code review. Could you please help me to know that in this source code, is there anything which you feel is fishy? That helped analyst during log4j. That helped analyst during recent source code issues in React and next.js. So even though uh, analysts don't know much, but they know the prompting thing, they know that how AI works, and they know how to use AI as a friendly companion rather than a competition. So for sure, this gap, this skill gap, it was already always there. It will be there. But how you try to use tools like ChatGPT or any AI tool for your benefit, for your upliftment, again, making your firm's security posture stronger rather than weaker. So as long as you are doing it, as long as your security posture is getting improved, even because no one is 100% skilled. So if I'm eager to learn, again to the point that we had earlier, eager to learn, I don't have that much time to learn, I use AI, get myself prepared, and that way, again, providing better security to my firm. That's what ultimately matters, and it is doing two work: providing extra security to my firm on the same cost, and making my my brain horses, run uh, in a new area in AI field. That's how I can utilize these tools for betterment of my firm security.
That's a fantastic explanation, Harpreet. And the takeaway for the viewers is that yes, AI is a good companion, so you need to know how to use the tool. Having said that, you also need to have some amount of subject knowledge, the domain knowledge as well, right? So otherwise, even if the output says, okay, do something, and if you're not knowledgeable, and you may end up missing something very, very important, right? And
For sure.
and the cost of that decision or the cost of that miss is going to be very, very serious, right? So that's very important, guys. So while a lot of people say, hey, you can use AI, you can do anything, yes, true, but you also need to have the domain knowledge, right? And I think everybody keeps saying, stay hungry for knowledge, right? So there's so much. And Harpreet, you also mentioned today, this information is freely available. So many podcasts, so many YouTube. And you also had a conversation with Prasad Nair, right? Did I get the name right? Yeah. And you had a conversation with him.
Yeah.
And then Prab Nair, yeah, Prab Nair, yes. And then you also had a conversation and you did a session with IC2 Delhi NCR chapter, right? And where you actually handled firsthand as to, decompiling of a malware, and you said, okay, this is how you analyze, right? So those knowledge, experience you need to have. Otherwise, AI is again going to be just theoretical. So that's what Harpreet is trying to bring to the fore. So guys, I think wherever you can get your hands dirty, you should. Right? AI is a good companion, but it will not substitute you. Harpreet, over to you.
Move into hands-on thing. I know all of you are waiting for what we are going to do in demo things. We'll first talk about the real AI security gap. We talked about how AI is helping. We talked about how AI is a threat. Many leaders believe buying an AI security product equals being AI ready. That's not true. So our recent conversation, the skill set part, even though we invest heavily on AI tools, but if we don't have the skill set to think what's in the background, that belief is very dangerous. So tools without strategy, they create blind confidence. So hundreds of millions of euros in best of the tools, but no skilled person to look after them. Single loophole and your entire infrastructure is gone, along with the money that you spend on those, that blind
Absolutely.
confidence. So
And
we still assume,
Harpreet, you would also
sorry,
agree with me that IC2's Sorry, so with IC2's recent, the certified in cybersecurity, they also emphasize a lot on problem solving, reasoning, and analytical skills. Right, so problem solving, reasoning, analytical skills can only go hand in hand with the domain knowledge. Just to add to what you were just saying.
exactly.
Oh, team, yeah.
Defenders plan incidents while attackers run campaigns. Uh, this line includes much of the gist of what we are talking. So, unprepared symptom, they slow down the decision loops, which also includes this decision of hiring people or getting AI tools implemented as fast as possible. Then there are approval chains. Even though companies, they are good, they are having cash liquidity to invest as much as they can. Some companies, not every company, till they are attacked, they are interested in spending bucks on security. But yes, if the company is thinking about it, then there are approval chains. You have to get approval from one metrics, then another metrics, local metrics, abroad metrics, and then the other stakeholders which might be on leaves. So boards change and quarterly tuning cycles are there. These were built for a slower threat model. They were good when the threat model was slower, but now when the attack is so fast, so you if you are seeing that okay, there is some attack going on in the market, you don't have time to wait to think that okay, this 0 day will not attack us. That might be the next big news in the market, that okay, this firm got attacked. That's one point where the decision delays, approval delays impact, even when you are 100% confident that yes, you are doing the right thing. So so we were talking about, if the detection rules are older than the attacker's learning cycle, that means you are already way behind. So with this, I'll like to showcase attack and defense scenarios in AI. uh, if I could share my screen.
So while Harpreet brings his screen up, uh, we're going to see a demo as to how AI is in use for good and for the bad. Right. So he's going to show us as to how it is being put into use.
So firstly, we talk about the defense thing. In defense side, we'll talk about Yara rules, which help us in detection, in threat detection, and thus help us to take decisions upon that detection. We'll be using the Yara rules in Kali Linux. So what we are doing, we are prompting to build the Yara rule. I'm using prompt to generate the Yara from Chat GPT. Just to show you what prompt I'm using. This is the prompt that I have asked Chat GPT. Create a Yara rule named IK test file that is designed to detect antivirus string. Set the author to whatever, you can use it, my name or your name, and date to, say we are at 2026, change it to that. In the strings, this is what we would require. And let it do the work. So it is creating a Yara rule for you. This is what it has shared: rule IK text file, condition as you mentioned. So what I'll do, I'll copy this code, paste it here in the file, paste the clipboard, save it, Control O, Control X. The file is saved. You have created the Yara rule. You have pasted the rule. Now run the command to create a test file containing this IK antivirus string. So how to do that? use this to create text file. I'll paste the command here and enter. Now, if we want to test this file with the Yara rule, use Yara file name icar underscore rule dot icar dot text. To scan using Yara rules, Yara rule icar underscore rule dot provide some number of files, icar test file, increase scan Yara -r and the file. File already created here, icar rule.yar, but
Yep.
another rule. So if this rule is having some issue, but it is created already here that we can see.
Yes.
What else we can try? Try creating another suspicion rule. So if there would be any suspicious file, it would trigger the dynamic link library rule for Yara. Again, we would be using ChatGPT to place our rule here. Create a Yara rule. This time we'll name it suspicious. I'll just edit it here only. Name this time it is not test file. This time it is
Suspicious.
say detect suspicious dynamic link library that is designed to detect suspicious DLL behavior. Instead of here, detect the suspicious dynamic link library behavior. In the meta session, include the description that says detect suspicious DLL behavior. When we say prompting, it is how you talk with the machine, how you talk with the AI. Set the author, or this time we'll set the severity to high. In the string section, we won't be using Iker this time. This we'll change. The string sections, what we'll do, we will add two string identifiers for Windows API function. Now, any API call would be checked by this code that we are generating. API functions. What those functions would be: load library and get process address. So if any of these, load library or get process address, any of these would run, it would trigger this rule along with the hexadecimal byte pattern. Now which byte pattern? We'll use say one byte pattern 68 double question mark. Six eight 68 and then again 4 6 8. Ensure that file starts which makes it suspicious. Any file which says MZ possibly is some payload injected by the attacker by checking the file signature. how to check file signatures here. Integer 16. And then file that either of the API strings is present together. Dot rule formatted as code, and it must exactly match the described structure. If we send it, it will create a rule again to detect suspicious DLL. Copy this. You have another rule
Got
prepared
it.
for you
Yeah.
without you knowing. Might be the analyst doesn't know how to create Yara rules, and in this case he just asked the AI helper tool to assist, and the code was ready. Again, Control O and Control S. So this is another Yara rule that was created. To use it, we'll use Yara suspicious DLL. So it says detect suspicious in may slow down scanning. That means your Yara rule is now deployed.
Mhm.
It's showing you a warning that it might slow down scanning. Could not open file because might be the file is not ready yet. Similarly, we would do for Iker rule, which was not working earlier. These rules, which says these rules are now deployed, on the strings that you have provided. So as soon as something with similar sort matching rules would be caught, your rules would be deployed and you will get the results. This is in the defense side. This is when you are doing the defense part. You can use AI in the attack part also. How to use AI in attack part we'll see in a while. But for this demo, it was using Yara rules, deploying Yara rules using ChatGPT or your AI agent, any of the AI agent, without you having to code anything. So again, even if you don't know the code, AI would help assist you in deploying some rules.
So, Harpreet, coming back to the previous point, right? I mean, what I mentioned, the basic knowledge is essential, right? I mean, it simplifies your work, right? So you don't have to sit and write multiple lines of code, spending hours together. So you're cutting the time down. But when the
Exactly.
output comes, you know exactly what to do with it. So when somebody lacks that, then that is a danger.
For sure.
Absolutely.
So that was how you would use AI for a friendly AI, how AI would be your friend, assisting you making Yara rules for detection of suspicious DLLs or something that antivirus would find, some EDR related stuff. But AI could be your worst foe also. So now we will see how AI would be serving as a foe, how AI would.
Something similar to what you earlier mentioned, right? I mean, typically an EDR would say, okay, here's a bad file or bad behavior related to that is found in VirusTotal. And humans also do the same thing. The first go-to place is VirusTotal, where you go and check to see whether that is listed out there. But what you're trying to showcase something similar is, yes, it is there, but how do you circumvent that and still get through?
The last demo said that how you can do same things without actual tools, just with the AI friend, AI companion. Now what we are doing, now we will be simulating attacks on AI models. Now how we do it, we will be using Google Colab for it.
Sure.
Let's see how we can attack AI models. Since it would include prompting, so I'll prefer use some prompt which are already there so that it could safeguard our time of discussion.
I agree.
Let's.
So that also brings us to a point, right? I mean, when I talk to my friends in the ecosystem in other parts of the world, one of the things they are also doing is to maintain an inventory of all these prompts. So it's tested, audited, confirmed, good for use, so that the organization knows exactly what prompts are being used and what purposes. So, and for me, when you said, okay, you said, okay, let's save time. But I think in essence, what you're saying is you have a repository of all these prompts, which you have written it down, you have tested, you know it works, and you know exactly what the output is going to be, so that you get the desired results in real quick time. Yeah?
Exactly. So that was also part of the preparation of our talks.
Absolutely.
So one brilliant tool that we have got from Google is Google Colab. It starts with collab.research.google.com. Which I haven't used earlier from a new account. Hope the screen is ready.
It is visible. It's just coming up. Yes, it is on now. Yeah.
Lab.research.google.com. Google provides you a way to talk to AI. So we call it Google Colab or we call it Notebook. It is already integrated with Google Drive, GitHub. For any new thing, you will click on New Notebook and it will welcome you with a screen just like this. So just like we saw the prompting on ChatGPT, Google helps you. If I don't know anything, I'll either, if I'm a coder, I'll start coding it as it is. If I don't know anything about coding, what I'll do, I'll generate with AI. I'll just ask it to do it for me and it will start coding. So commands, code, text. Already integrated. Gemini. What we can do? Ask it to change the runtime, files, data explorer, secrets, data inspector, code snippets, find and replace table of contents. Similar to our code base, we can download things here. We'll start with downloading Python related libraries. So pip, we'll install TensorFlow. Similarly, we'll install other libraries, say get plus https, GitHub. What we are installing? We are installing CleverHands. So execute it. Just like you do it on, say, some coding platform, it will be doing as it is. Downloaded whatever you mentioned. The requirements are satisfied. So we saw something similar in Linux, that was CLI, and a similar CLI just in front of you by Google.
So, Harpreet, I mean, while you're doing this, right, I mean, I have a question for you, so you can decide whether you want to answer it now or later, that's fine. Are you seeing organizations bringing in people with AI skills? Right? I mean, today what happens is you and I have the domain knowledge, right? And maybe we have evolved where we have learned. You have gone and, done a course and you have a certificate to back you up in terms of your knowledge and your experience for AI, right? So are organizations hiring people who are good at, doing all what you're showcasing here in terms of, what to do and get the platform ready and to do the prompt engineering, where the executives could probably tell them, hey guys, I mean, this is exactly what I want done. This is like, somebody saying, okay, this is my requirement. I need this product. So you have a business analyst who is actually gathering the requirements, go to the design team, they code, I mean, design, and the coders get the, technical design, and then they code it, UAT, and it goes into production. How is it happening in this world?
What I've seen, uh, every company, means it is nothing against any company. Everyone wants the value for their investment. So every company requires talent which is having more credibility. Not just credibility, the skills should be visible while you are being interviewed. So when I say if there is a job description and they say we want a person having cybersecurity knowledge plus AI, why would anyone do it? Because as as a job seeker, I know that if cybersecurity is giving me X, no, generally I would not advocate going after the money, go after the purpose for sure. But if someone is upskilling himself, it's not just for a common goal. The money is always a factor which motivates the person to do that extra stuff. So if I am having cybersecurity plus AI in my CV, that would make me more desirable altogether as compared to my peers which are having cybersecurity only, because that cybersecurity only, the CV will talk about things which were relevant say 4 years back, 5 years back. But if you are saying that okay, companies are moving to AI and I can defend your AI models from attacks, that's where companies sees your worth a little above than your
The rest.
competitors.
Absolutely. Makes sense. And I think
So
viewers, that's something you need to take note, right? I mean, it's not about just saying AI, but there has to be a purpose and there has to be a willingness to walk that talk.
exactly. So as long as you can showcase your worth in any ways, you are valued. by firms.
Absolutely. That also, takes us to being current. I mean, this field is all about, staying current. I mean, you and I knew about maybe an hour ago, we are outdated, right?
Exactly.
So much. So I think that is where the curiosity comes into play, right? I mean, we need to stay curious. We need to stay hungry for that knowledge and experience. And that's what
Exactly.
we are trying to do here, right? I mean, we are taking time off our other work where we're trying to create a platform where we can discuss these important topics and showcase to people, okay, what is that they need to do to grow their career in this field.
Exactly. A part of our experience, if that could shape someone's career, nothing better than that.
Absolutely. And if we can shape other people's career, that means we are ensuring the organizations have the right people to defend themselves.
Correct. Giving back to society.
Absolutely. And if the organizations can survive, that means they will be able to contribute more back into the society and also be able to deliver best of class service to the customers. And also, people
Exactly.
like you and I will always be there to serve both sides of the table.
Exactly. As a learner and
And as a
imparting
practitioner as well.
the little that we know.
Absolutely.
So currently evaluating the model, the AI model, uh, talking about loss, accuracy, the X and Y axis. Uh, Currently, the test accuracy is on adversarial data 0.0233. I won't be going deep in what AI does, how it optimizes things, but we would be more interested in the attacks and how your AI model could get attacked and how to safeguard it. Means one method we have already seen, uh, having the rules in place. So if you see, if there is some error in my code, Gemini on the spot would work to get it rectified. So I don't have to take much tension. It says that, okay, this was your code, this was the original code, but this is how it should be. If you accept and run,
You
so
don't
that's
accept
how
and
we
run
are.
just because it gave it to you, but you also do due diligence, right? I mean, you review it and say, okay, does that serve your purpose? Then you accept. Otherwise, you go
Exactly.
back and modify and then you implement.
Exactly. What this model was doing, it was, say, providing you an output of, say, this was the number 72104. What did we do with all this stuff here in Google Colab? We tried to attack this model,
Mhm.
and what did it do? Once you attacked it, this is how it was seen. So if there is any LED display anywhere using AI modeling and it's under attack, this is how it would get distorted. If it would have been like this, the clarity gets distorted this much. So original was this, and when the adversarial attack was done, that's what was shown to us after the attack. So you see how the not so friendliness of AI when the AI acts against you. That's how we demonstrate the impact of adversarial attacks on deep learning models. So we used here CleverHens library to demonstrate it. So as I mentioned, one way in which AI is helpful for us, we created rules using AI, and another way where it shows the adversary. So we try to have a look on how the adversary attacks on deep learning model would destroy our work. So
So just to recap there, Preet,
yeah,
right? I mean, so this demonstration, what you have just demonstrated, you are showing there is an AI model, and if attacked, this is one of the ways that model can be impacted. Now, here you are basically visually showing them how the clarity is distorted here,
correct, correct.
right? And let's say if we take that and apply it in real life situation, let's say if there is a model, and you gave a classic example, you said if it is an LED display, and if it is placed at a life-saving junction, right? Maybe to indicate saying, okay, this is the way you need to take for you to exit the building in case if there's a fire. And at that point in time, if this displays get distorted, then probably people may go the other direction where exactly the fire is.
Exactly, exactly. Uh, the latest example we have this AQI thing, where they say that the actual value is different. So
Absolutely.
somewhere a meter is showing, say, AQI value of 600, and that's the background is AI based, and it gets attacked. The meter gets attacked. You might never know that it is 600 or 300 or 400. The zero might look familiar, but the first letter, say 300 or 600, got mixed up or
Yep.
show
You're
something
right.
like this.
Absolutely. I
So
mean, and as you describe this, I mean, I have so many scenarios running through my head, right? And in our side conversation, we said our intent is not to scare anybody, but what we are trying to demonstrate here is that these are possibilities, these are realities, right? And for us, even if you're looking at being a resilient organization, then we need to know where exactly our vulnerabilities would exist or where vulnerabilities can be exploited. That would limit our resilience so that the businesses probably will go to a grinding halt, right? So I guess the message, what we are trying to convey here is it's time the organizations actually take a fresh look at their business models, how technology is being used, or wherever there is an interaction with technology, and ask yourselves, okay, what if? You don't have to get overexcited about it, but you may say, hey, I mean, right now I perceive the risk to be low, so be it. But come back after 3 weeks, 3 months, or 6 months later and review it to see whether that assumption stands the same way as you did 6 months ago. So I guess what I'm learning from this talking to you is this conversation is not static where we say, okay, today we learned this, so that's it. But I think this can actually take different forms of shape, right? And what was also going through my mind is I'm sure you watched Die Hard movies, right?
mhm.
The
Yeah,
right, 1, 2, 3, 4, and I was like, I sat and watched some of them multiple number of times. Right? And some of those things, I think I had 4 where they're talking about taking the power grids down, and they're holding the whole city at ransom. And when the movie was released, and I don't think some of those things were even imaginable, right? And it was just a movie. But fast forward to today, right? And traffic lights, power grids, everything is connected, right? And we are talking about IoT and AI enable the furnaces and various things. Right? And also, another movie which I recall, Harrison Ford, Firewall, where he's the CI, I mean, he's head of security in that movie.
yeah, yeah.
Right? And the attackers used only a very simple trick. They knew what that kid was allergic to, peanut butter. So what did they do? They called him and said, hey, if you don't do this, we would, feed your kid peanut butter. Right. So how do you actually build, even if somebody is physically caused to do things which they are not supposed to? How would you build safety systems in your organization so that it will go through multiple layers? Right, like the nuclear thing, right? I mean, so no one person will have the code to pull the plugs, right? So it goes through multiple layers. Or even you take the bank locker in our day-to-day life, right? The bank has one piece, we have the other piece, right?
Exactly.
So I think there are conversations we are having in terms of quantum computing and all that kind of thing. Now I think I would like to go back in time, if that is possible, to do time travel. Go back 30, 40 years, but in current context. Harpreet.
Yes, a wonderful point that you put forward. The defense in depth, or the Swiss cheese model, we say. Uh, there are layers, not just in IT, in OT security, in AI,
Yes.
in every vertical of security. So if one layer fails in any case, we have multiple other layers which tries to safeguard it. But again, if there is a gap in skill, no layer is enough. So this loops us back to the very first point from where we started. Uh, we can invest millions, we can invest billions, but the best investment is the investment on the human person, the person who is there on the chair. So companies do train. If you show that caliber, no company would hesitate in training you guys. Uh, February is in India is the uh, month of conferences. So one way,
Absolutely.
this is just to make it a little light and additional thing to offer the viewers that yes, in February, if you think your company or you yourself want to get involved in networking or more security stuff, there are many conferences going on in February. Most of them you'll see in Goa. Uh,
Yeah. The Nalcon is
and
happening. Yeah.
Nalcon is happening, C sites is
Yes.
there,
That's
D
right.
sites is
Besides,
there.
it's
So
happening. That's right.
yeah,
Yeah.
so
So
that's one way
those,
of how
absolutely
you make yourself uh,
correct.
skilled enough or be and talks enough that
Absolutely.
the firm knows that okay, you're doing something. You are the point that you said, hungry enough. So you show your hunger, and the firms take care of the rest.
Absolutely, absolutely. And that's the way to go, right? I mean, today, and I think that's what brought us together as well, right? I mean, I attended one of your sessions which you did for the Delhi chapter, IC2 Delhi chapter,
I
and I
remember. Yeah.
liked the demo you did, right? And I request the viewers to, look up on LinkedIn or the social platforms about Harpreet. He is a very well known and most sought out speaker, right? So if you guys have a topic you would like us to have a conversation, or you have a topic you want Harpreet to have a conversation with Prabnar maybe, or somebody else, tell us. We will facilitate that, right? I mean, so that's because that's a way we can learn, right? Because we can learn from one's experience. Because by the time somebody writes a book on this, the world has moved somewhere else, right?
Exactly.
Right. It might be good for financial markets where somebody says, "Oh, I wrote a book in 2012 about the impending inflation and how, the world markets are going to move." So it can be a theoretical thing and pay say, "Oh, hey, I predicted this." But in tech world with AI there, we don't want to talk history. We want to be ahead of that, and we want to be defending our organizations and, more importantly, our own lives.
Exactly.
Har-
Exactly.
Go ahead, Arpit.
I'll uh, I'll try. I'll just use this time to share my closing notes here.
Sure.
So uh, we talked about AI. We shared a number of brilliant exchanges. AI did not make attackers evil. That's one of good or bad thing of the AI. AI did not make attackers evil. It made them efficient. So if it can make them efficient, why not the defenders, the same technology can make defenders effective if used correctly. The final challenge, in my views, the question is not whether AI will be used in cyber attacks. The question is already answered. The real question is whether defenders are willing to evolve fast enough.
Absolutely. So you very rightly said, are we ready? And I think it's a multi-pronged conversations. The management has to come in. They need to understand. The tech guys have to come in and accept the reality, right? Where investments have to come in, and I think that investment has to come in, not necessarily in terms of hiring skills, but also training, sustaining them. Replacing humans are not the way to go, but we need to repurpose them. So because that knowledge what they carry in the organization is always going to be useful, right? Because they will help actually troubleshoot. They will probably help solve a problem which AI encounters, like what you did, right? I mean, you wrote a code and Gemini said, this is what the code should look like. But you didn't blindly accept because you used your knowledge experience to say, hey, yeah, this is good to go. Otherwise, you would make that change. And that's where we need to repurpose people, their experience and skill. And last but not the least, and I think this type of conversations are need of the hour. Everybody needs to come. I mean, there is nothing wrong in saying, oh, I don't know anything about it, or I did not know. And nobody would say, hey, you're stupid because you didn't know anything about it. Right? So one person's experience will save the rest of the world. That's how I believe. Right? Because they may not have a similar scenario, but somebody has gone through it. So we can learn from that. So Harpreet, thank you so much for spending time. This has been one of the longest sessions we've ever had, and I enjoyed every moment of it. More than saying that I enjoyed, I would say I'm going out of this call enriched with so much of knowledge, so much for me to reflect. And I'm going to have this conversation with all my friends and my clients as well. I'm sure you would do that as well. So viewers, thank you so much for tuning in, and we are going to make this available. We will try and mark this into chapters, or probably try to give you a script as well, so that if you don't have the time to listen to it because it's a long recording, you can actually read through and then maybe watch the sections which you need to watch. Right? So let us know if there's anything we can actually talk about in the future. We look forward to your continued support. Harpreet, once again, it was a joy having you here in my virtual studio. Look forward to having you back again in the studios again. And all the best.
Pleasure is all mine, Sujit. And as you mentioned, any questions and queries, happy to answer.
Absolutely.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you. Thank you so much.